Hello and welcome back to the S.H.E.Gallery show. Thank you for being with us. Today we have a special guest live from California. We have SILVAANDGOLD and she's
Hi,
joining
how
us
are
via
you?
Zoom. Thank you for being with us, Ruth. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm pretty good, thank you. I hope everything works out good. Is the camera good? Sound good?
Yeah, I think we're good and we're on and we're live.
Awesome.
So there you go. So about a year ago, you were here actually in Chicago and you were celebrating hip hop in July in Logan Square. Do you want to talk to us? Well, just jumping right back in. Um, Introduce yourself a little bit about yourself and your connection to the city, and then we'll dive in deeper into your story.
So my name is Silva and Gold. I'm from Southeast Los Angeles. I actually met Seven and Ella, who used to have a art gallery and they used to host events there every year. And they found me on Instagram, actually on social media. They played my music, and they invited me to Chicago. They invited me to Chicago for a hip hop event. This was in like 2021, I believe. I want to say 2021. And I went and we made a connection. It was great. And then they invited me again after that, which was last year. And last year, the event happened at their gallery, but also they had another event, which was at Logan Square, I believe, which is like downtown Chicago area, if I'm not mistaken, downtown
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, and it was great. It was my first time having an event in downtown Chicago, like a major event, a major like block party type thing in downtown Chicago, and it was during summer, so it was very very hot.
Yeah, yeah. So we saw you hairpin, and then I believe maybe what you were talking about is Sundays on State Street. Is that the
Yeah.
event?
That's the Sundays on State Street, yes. And then the hairpin event, that was the event that was held kind of like at a ballet um, venue type place.
Mm-hmm.
It was like an upstairs event. It was a hip hop event. They had Rusty Jux, Skankster Rap, Martyr, and I believe Vic Spencer was there. He showed up as a guest. So yeah, that was very cool. Very cool to be around,
Nice.
surrounded by so many great people that love hip hop. Chicago hip hop.
Yeah, Chicago is pretty dope. And they're still celebrating 50 years of hip hop, July, August. I don't think it's going to stop, which is beautiful. So, how long have you been writing?
Writing since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But rapping, I want to say like 5 years, barely rapping. Yeah.
How did that come about?
Oh man, I have no idea. I feel like I love hip hop since I was a kid.
Hmm.
So it's just always been a part of my life. It's just always been me. Um, and I've always wanted to rap, but I never thought that I can do it. I never really saw myself like, you know, the music that I would listen to, I never saw myself in that, like physically. But that didn't stop me from being a fan. You know what I'm saying? Like I never saw myself on like, and when I say myself, I see like people that look like me. I never really saw myself in like MTV, BET, or even the cover of the albums that I was bumping, right? But I was still a fan. I love the music more than anything. So I think subconsciously, I never thought that I can actually be a hip hop artist.
Hmm.
So it was never even a question. It's just not something that I could do, but that's okay because I love the culture so much. So and in whatever way, shape, or form that I could be a part of hip hop, I want to do that, right? So I was a fan. I went to concerts and shows since I was like 16 years old.
Who were you fanning?
Then I'm sorry.
Who were you fanning?
Oh my
You said
God,
you were a
who was it?
fan.
I
Who
was
were
a
you
fan.
fanning?
At what age? Because I feel like there was different eras, like and different seasons of the kind of music that I liked. When I was very very young, I think probably my first major memory of like hip hop was when I listened to the Beatnuts. Watch Out
Hmm.
Now. That was like in 1999. So that was the first time I fell in love with like a beat, and I said, "What is this? Is like what is this?" You know what I'm saying? And that was the first time. But my first major concert, like a concert that I went to, a hip hop concert, was when I went to go see Rock the Bells. Rock the Bells. I was like 16 years old, and I saw Wu Tang live. And I think that was like a turning point in my life because it was the first live hip hop show that I saw, and that's when I realized I want to be a part of this. Like, but I don't know how. Like, how can I be a part of this? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think, like I said, I don't think I think subconsciously I just never thought that I could really do hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But I was okay with being a part of hip hop in other ways. And then I went to college and I studied journalism, and my goal was to be a music writer, right? But it didn't satisfy. It wasn't easy to break into. It just wasn't enough for me. And then I decided, you know what? I already sing. I sing in church. I love to sing. Let me try to write the poetry that I write. Let me try to rap this over beats, right? Over hip hop beats. And that's when I started to practice, and then officially recorded a song in like 2018, and then officially released music in 2019 for the first time.
My gosh,
Yeah,
that was not that long ago. Like
it
2019
wasn't.
was not that long ago. So
No, it's only been
congratulations.
like
I
five
can't wait
years.
to see like I know you're gonna keep growing. That's for sure.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
mentioned you didn't see people that look like you. I imagine that you mean like a Latina.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what I saw like
Yeah,
on, like you
totally.
said, BT or MTV. But that wasn't gonna stop me from being a fan. I was a fan of it no matter what, right? But yeah, I didn't see myself there for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think that the closest that we can say, maybe, I don't know, that people that maybe just wanted to include was J-Lo in New York when she would do stuff with rappers, but she's not a hip hop rapper or a rapper. She's a singer. She's a pop singer. You, however, something that I really like about you is that you do conscious rapping. So it is hip hop, the hip hop that the youth needs, the hip hop, what a message. And I think that's really important.
Thank you.
Did you differentiate that? Like, were you aware, like, you know what, I want to leave a positive message? Or, like, what were you thinking about when you were writing about these beats?
You know what? That's a
Or
really good
these
question.
rapping over the beats, sorry.
Like my message.
Yeah, like, when you were like, okay, am I gonna rap about being like the best or the toughest or about having the most money, or am I gonna like deliver a positive message like conscious rapping?
Honestly, I don't know how this is gonna sound, but I wasn't trying to do or be anything specific. I was just being myself. Like I wasn't writing lyrics with a goal to have a specific message. I was just talking about my experiences and what I was taught growing up and my surroundings, and this I'm a product of my environment. I'm a product of the stuff I watch, the stuff I listen to. I'm a product of my parents. I'm a product of, yeah, of my childhood. I'm a product of, yeah. So I wasn't really trying to do anything with my message. I was just trying to be myself, and I just really wanted to rap and put music out because it's what I've always wanted to do. And so now that I'm older, I get to make my own decisions. Like now I get to, you know what? I put off this dream for so long. I'm a grown up now. Let me do what I've always wanted to do finally. And so I just did it. I just wrote about what I felt. I just talked about my experiences. I'm just being myself, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's wonderful that uh, that people are receiving a positive message as an
Yeah,
outcome. You know, like thank
beautiful.
you. Like that's a blessing. That's I'm just being myself.
Yep,
You know.
that's that fifth element, that knowledge, that wisdom that you're producing beautifully.
Yeah. Thank you.
What else am I gonna ask you? So you are in California. Are you originally from California?
Born and raised, yeah. Born and raised. Los
And do
Angeles,
you
yeah.
feel like there's a difference of style in music from California or like versus Chicago or other parts of the world?
Absolutely. Every region has its own style. You know, there's Southern hip hop, there's East Coast hip hop, there's West Coast, there's the Bay. Then, and if you want to go overseas, there's French hip hop. You know what I'm saying? There's different styles, but I don't think you have to be like I don't think you have to be confined to anything. I think you could be whatever you want to be. But yeah, I think there's different styles. Can you hear me?
Yeah, if you could just talk a little bit louder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. No, that's okay. I could hear you, but they just let me know that they're having a little bit of issues with the audio, so I apologize. I just want to make sure
It's
that we
okay.
could hear you.
I'm sorry if there's a bunch of noise around me. I have a bunch of noise around me. Like I have family here and stuff like that. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. It's
But
okay. It's okay. Yeah, let's hear a little bit more about your family. You said that you're a product of your environment. So do you find yourself rapping about like your parents' experiences, you growing up? Are you a single child? Are you thinking about your siblings?
I'm one of six kids. I have a big family. I'm one
Wow.
of six kids. I'm a middle child. I have three parents. I have a mom and a dad, and I have a stepdad. So, and I have a bunch of nieces and nephews. Like I'm, I'm never really alone. You know what I'm saying? So I value my solitude. My older siblings were my first teachers as far as hip hop goes and music and culture. So no, I have a big family, and yes, I talk about my family a lot in my music. I always have. I mention my parents. I mention my brothers and sisters all the time. My nieces and nephews. I have my nieces and nephews in my music videos sometimes. So yeah.
That's what I mean with the mentorship. So, like, I talk about conscious rapping. Like, I'm always mindful of my nieces and nephews with
Mm,
everything that I do. I try to be. 'Cause I know that
I love
kids
that.
are always watching.
I love
And,
that.
monkey see, monkey do. So I think that
Absolutely.
it's really cool that you're doing that and that you have a big family. Do they support you, like your parents? Do they support your dream, or did you have a hard time with that?
They don't support my dream. My dad
Get
does.
a
My
job.
dad. My dad does support my dream. My dad, if you go to any of my shows, there's a big chance that you're gonna meet my dad because my dad's always there.
Oh,
But my mom is the opposite. She doesn't want me to rap anymore. She wants me to stop. She's been very straight and direct with me about just can you please stop rapping? You
you
know
think
me.
it's just
So
because
yeah,
rapping, or is it because like music, or is it the genre?
I think it's rap. No, I think it's the genre. I think if I was maybe if I was singing rancheras, she might be okay with it. Yeah.
She'd be like,
If I
yeah,
was
that's my
singing
daughter.
If I was, yeah, she'd be proud of that. If I was singing cumbias, maybe she'd be like, "All right, girl, I like it," you know. But because it's rap, it is kind of like weird for her. She's like I said, she's been direct with me about wanting me to stop.
Hmm.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's straight. She don't want me to do it, and she tells me.
Oh. So you were
Yeah,
singing at church,
yeah,
and I imagine that
I
that
was.
helped with what you're doing, even though you're not totally singing, like you're still working with your voice. What do
Yeah.
you are you like spirit wise? I notice your spirituality in your verses. Like is God a big factor for you?
Yeah, I was raised in church. I was raised in church since I was a kid. I was singing in church since I was a kid. I'm sorry if you hear the ice cream truck. I live in the hood. Please don't get to the ice cream truck. Yes.
Paletero.
Yeah, I mean, paleteros all the time. Um, I was raised in church since I was a kid. I was singing in church since I was a kid. And I was singing from like being a kid to like being an adult. I think I was singing even when I was in my early 20s. Um, I was singing in church, yeah. So church and spirituality in general play a big role in my stage presence, right?
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, in my I guess spirituality, my relationship with God. I don't really believe in religion anymore because I feel like sometimes the church can be corrupt. But my relationship with God is a whole different story. I do have a relationship with God. I believe in God and I talk about God in my music because I have faith.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's in my music for sure. And if you hear it, then you can hear it and see it for sure.
Yeah. That conscious rapping. So I'm just curious, like these are the conversations that I have with my mom. I think she
Yeah,
appreciates the culture and stuff, but when I
yeah,
try to talk to people about why hip hop is so important, people that have been discouraging me from continuing to promote hip
mm,
hop or are discouraging me from continuing to promote graffiti art, they
mm,
say you're better than that. I don't know how to respond to that because I just think that's the best thing that there is. I think
mm,
that in that fifth element of hip hop and knowledge and wisdom is where you're able to spread that gospel and to the youth because that's who's listening, you know. So I wonder if your mom is aware of how much gospel you're spreading through your lyrics when you're rapping. What do you think about that?
I don't think she knows. I think she has an idea because she knows me and because I like to think that she believes that she raised me the right way. And I think she has faith in that. Like she has faith in me. And I think in general, I think both of my parents, even though they both have different perspectives of me in hip hop, I think they could both agree on one thing, that they have confidence in the way they raised me.
They
You know,
trust you.
they trust me. They trust me with, they trust the fact that I will make the right decisions, that I know how to carry myself. They raised a confident woman, and I know they know that, right? So even though they, like I said, they both have different perspectives on me in hip hop and music and rapping, I know that they have confidence in the way they raised me. So even though my mom doesn't listen to my music and doesn't know the exact message I'm sharing, I know she believes that I'm sharing a good message. You know, I I think she has faith in me in that sense. And my dad knows for sure because he goes to my shows and he listens to my music. But my mom, I think, yeah, she doesn't listen to my lyrics, but I know she has faith in me
Oh, and that's what's
for
up.
sure.
She trusts you and you trust yourself. That confidence, that's what
Yeah.
keeps you rolling.
Mhm. And they did a good job. My parents weren't perfect, but one thing they got right is that they gave me the confidence to believe in myself for
That's
sure.
beautiful. And now you're spreading that on to the rest of the seeds and to other
I
people that
hope
are
so.
watching you, right?
I hope so. That's all I want. That's if I can inspire you, then I've done my job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're doing a lot of touring now. Like, what's that like? When you were doing like your first tour, you were like, oh my God, I'm actually performing in front of a crowd. What was that like for you? From going to like
My
a
first,
hobby of like, oh, I can't do that. That's not for me to like, damn, there's a crowd here.
yeah. You know what? My first and last tour was in 2021. I went to like Brooklyn, New York. I was in Chicago. I was in Las Vegas, San Diego. But I haven't toured since then. I'm just doing local shows, or the furthest I go is like maybe Northern California or like San Diego. But as far as like an actual tour, I have not done that yet since then. It's a whole process. It costs money, and I feel like I'm still getting my feet wet. But in time, I know in time it'll happen. For now,
Yeah.
I'm in California. I'm all over California, north,
That's so
mid,
dope.
southern California. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so exciting. I'm excited for you.
Hopefully in the future, if God willing, there'll be like tour opportunities. But I'm not in a rush. I trust God. You know.
Yes, 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 that trust, absolutely. I think that's so, so, so important. Um, Ruth, I don't know, you're so inspiring to me. You know, when you were here on the show, I was like, oh my God, that's something I always wanted to do. And with everybody that I've been talking to, I always find great inspiration, and I hope that the viewers are also finding inspiration and that you take this inspiration and this energy for your next shows. You have a show coming up in September, September 8th or 9th. Are you guys celebrating hip hop in LA, or what's going on over there? Or it's not LA, it's in
Yeah,
California.
yeah. It's a small show, which I love. I don't like
Yeah.
necessarily being part of huge lineups, unless it's a festival. If it's not a festival, I don't need to be part of a huge lineup. I feel like there's a disconnect. But if I can be part of a small show with just a limited amount of artists, that's even better for me. And that's what's happening on September 8th. Friday, September 8th, I'm going to be in Lomita, California, which is in the South Bay. And I'm going to be with Kid Abstract 1773 and One from People Under the Stairs, you
Okay,
know?
okay.
And I was listening to People Under the Stairs in high school. So the fact
Aw.
that One is going to be a guest DJ there, like, oh my God, I feel so blessed. I feel so
That's
blessed, and I'm humbled. Like, and shout out to Kid Abstract for being so dope, for being such a great like partner in this. You know what I'm saying? Just it's a small show for artists, but I'm excited for it. So if you're in California, pull up. Yeah.
beautiful. Um, so we only do have a couple more minutes, but I do want to ask you, I wanted to ask you about your DJ because I think that's really important, connecting with somebody, making those beats together. So making that beat, that connection, you know, what that's like or what it was like for you to find your perfect person for your beats. And then if you can leave us with some words of wisdom and then spit a rhyme.
So I don't have a DJ, like a actual like DJ that I work with. I'm still like hoping that I will acquire one day, but I'm waiting for the right connection. Now, as far as the production, that's usually made by producers, and I work with different producers, not just one. But it took me a long time to like find people that believed in me because I was new. So a lot of producers didn't really like know about me. So why would they want to work with me, right? But after a while, after getting my feet wet, I got to meet a lot of producers that wanted to work with me. I can't just say yes to anybody, right? It has to be with the people that have production that moves me and we can make the connection, you know what I'm saying? And so I've been blessed these last few years to meet people and to make connections with producers that not only make music that, you know, is dope, but also like I trust them and they're my friends and we want to grow together and we have the same dream. So yeah, everybody that you hear on the album, this last album, all the producers there, like I know them and like we have a connection and that's how that works. Like
There's that
they're
magic.
not really strangers. Yeah, you can't really work with strangers as much as you can work with the people that you know and that are dope. So yeah,
Only dope people allowed. I
that you
want to
know. Yeah,
mention
yeah, yeah.
really quick before I let you spit your verse. Next week we have with us a special guest joining us here from Chicago. When in Chicago, DJ Nonstop. Earlier I was talking to DJ Nonstop and we are talking about his experience touring with DMX. So he is a DJ that was designated, or yeah, he was traveling with DMX for the last 18 years of his life. So there are a lot of great talents here. You know, you mentioned you don't have your own DJ, and he says he will never be anybody else's designated DJ anymore, but you never know, all I'm saying. All right, so I'll let you spit your verse, and if you want to share anything else for everybody else, thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next week.
Well, I just want to say something real quick. I know you mentioned that you have some people in your life that discourage you from like continuing to share the message of hip hop. But I want to leave you with this. Like, I think hip hop is very like I think hip hop is for scholars, you know?
Straight up.
So yeah, so I think when a person tries to put down hip hop as a culture or the music, I don't think they understand the history. I think that they're brainwashed because they just like they receive what they're given as opposed to actually digging into history and doing their own research. And so to me it's ironic when somebody like tries to belittle hip hop because it's like um you're an example of somebody that's just receiving what you're given. And isn't that foolish? That's the opposite of wisdom. Like as I think to be wise means to dig deeper,
Yep.
right?
And
And if a
that's why we're
person
here. I think a lot
belittles,
of people are afraid of that. It's intimidating. But dear, we
yeah,
only have
like,
1 minute and I want you to share your
oh, I'm
verse. I don't
sorry,
want
I'm
you to
sorry.
get cut
Yeah,
off.
I'm
Thank you
sorry.
so much. That's so
No
deep.
worries,
I
no worries.
appreciate
Okay,
your words of wisdom, man. I'm taking that with
no
me.
worries.
Love.
So this song is the first song on the album. It's called "Bring the Gold." First verse. They call me nostalgic, but I tell them that's not it. I'm timeless to the bone, so refer to me like this. I am not 90s. I'm living right here, right now. In this time and place, don't pigeonhole the way I sound. I wasn't meant to be around the golden era crowd, but as a child, learned the teachings and apply them now. Then reap the benefits on stage is what I'm finding out. I'm like a prophet in that sense. See what I recount, you sit, I tell. Like when elders passing teachings down. And like when Super sent that message in my tears, I drowned because I was finally receiving something so renowned, something you can't buy, and that's respect. So here I vow to never lose my sense of self, put my soul above wealth, keep on proving that I am required in this here realm. Don't store me in a shelf, catching dust around your house. Just play it for your kids and let it naturally astound, let it sink down because too quick they forget. Just look at what they call hip hop, what a mess. That's Bring the Gold, produced by Superstition, the legend Superstition. I'm blessed to have production by him. Shout out to Superstition.
Love
Thank you
you.
very much for having me.
Paz.
Take care.
You too.
Peace.